You feel there's an addiction to it? Because, that's the whole thing with social media, addiction to feel like you are committed to seeing what everybody else is doing because it's a part of loyalty. Like, I got to be loyal to them, and I kind of feel like they've been loyal to me. You feel there's some of that going on?
Oh, there's definitely some of that. But there's also I am insatiably curious about things. And so Twitter is terrible for that because it's just continual hits of information. So
I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, if you're talking reading a book a day and you all of a sudden have all this information to your hands, like, what is this? What's going on over here? What about this? Oh my gosh, what's it? So you can get really caught up with that.
Yes.
And that's starting to happen a lot with social media. Last question here before we go into speed round. Educational system. You're a professor. I mean, you've been in the environment. You see what's going on. I know sometimes when we're talking about early 80% of media is on the left, one of the stats you read about is that 1 in 12 professors in colleges today are conservative. 1 in 12. That means 11 are not, right? So, what do you think is the influence of colleges, and how do you feel about the current educational system, period?
I've seen large institutions fall apart because they make a fatal error. I think universities are making 7 fatal errors. Top-heavy administration that keeps growing. Okay. Increase in the number of part-time, untenured faculty members who have no administrative or academic power, massively increasing. Insane increases in tuition combined with indentured servitude for students, right? You get a student loan, you can't declare bankruptcy. So that means that the burgeoning administration has learned how to pick the pockets of the young people's future earnings. They entice them into university and offer them extended adolescence with no responsibility, and the price they garner from them is to garnish their future earnings. Crooked game. Ethics committees, absolute catastrophe. The dominance of this weird, nonsensical alliance between the postmodern types and the neo-Marxist types, which makes no sense philosophically given the postmodernist stated, what would you call it, skepticism for meta-narratives. Why the hell they've aligned themselves with the Marxists is beyond me, except that I think postmodernism is just a shell game for Marxism. That's another fatal error. The gerrymandering of the grade system. So I think I got 6 there. All of those, they're not good. They're fatal, I think, all of them. And so I think that, I don't know what's going to happen to the university system over the next 20 years, but I'm certainly not optimistic about it. So, and I've hired some people. This is a big problem we just discussed, and I've got this little solution. And so I know I'm talking about a little solution.
That'd be an interesting book if you were to write about it.
Well,
that'd be an interesting thing if you wrote about it.
I've hired some people to build an online education platform, and they've been working on it for 6 months, and we have a bit of a prototype, and we're trying to figure out how to build an alternative. You said, look, if the conservatives are so concerned about the liberal media, why the hell don't they go out and build their own media empire? It's like, well, if I'm concerned about the education system, then why don't I try to generate an alternative to it?
You're doing it.
I'm trying to.
Right.
I mean, the probability that it will succeed is like 0 because it's an impossible task. But we're trying to build a platform that would help people use their online time more productively and keep track of it. So imagine that everything that you taught yourself on YouTube could be accredited, and you could be rewarded for that across time, and maybe guided through it so that you could track your educational progress along a whole wide range of potential learning opportunities. We'd like to build an online portal that would make your use of your online time much more productive and engaging. So that's what we're aiming at.
Coming soon?
Oh God, who knows? We have a prototype. And we've applied to Y Combinator. I don't know if we'll get accepted. Maybe we will, and maybe we won't. We've got alternatives lined up if we're not accepted.
Well, let us know about it. We have some contacts. We would love to know more about it.
I will let you know.
Connect you with the right people. What's next for you, by the way? I mean, what are your aspirations? I mean, everybody has inspirations that you're talking about, right?
Well, I can tell you what's happening in the next year, but that's as far out as I can look.
Oh, so you don't know?
No, things are way too much in flux.
Politics, nothing like that. So we're never going to see Prime Minister Jordan Peterson. That's not in the equation.
Not that I can foresee at the moment. I mean, God only knows, because I can't look that far out. I'm more interested in what I'm doing at the moment. I think it's more useful. I can tell you what I'm doing for the next year. Okay, so next month I'm going to Europe. I have like 15 talks in Europe, all over the place. And then Hawaii, Los Angeles, Calgary, Vancouver, more talks. And then Florida. And then I'm going to Australia and New Zealand in February for another lecture tour. If the Y Combinator thing pops up, I'll go to San Francisco for January and February. In March, I'm going back to Europe. I'll probably hit another 25 cities then. From May to September, I'm going to hopefully finish up my next book, which is called 12 More Rules for Life, Beyond Mere Order. That's the plan. And then from September to December next year, I'm going to I did a whole series of lectures on Genesis. I want to go back after that, but go to Exodus and do a series of lectures on Exodus. So that's out for the next year. And after that, I don't know. I have no idea. That's plenty of planning for
That's
for
plenty
how,
of planning next
well,
12
for
months.
how fluid and crazy things are right now. That if I get through all that, that'll be a miracle.
I think if you were to start a university or online university or somewhere to educate thinking, processing, decision-making process, I think that wouldn't just be something that'll do well in the States here. That'll be worldwide on how well that could
we
do.
also want to build modules. We've been trying to figure out how to do this, is to teach people to read, to teach them to think, to teach them to speak and present, to teach them to negotiate. So part
Very
of it would be,
aligned with what we're thinking. It's so weird, like the stuff he's saying.
yeah, well, there's a crying need for
Yeah.
it, and obviously with the current technology that we possess, it would be possible to educate everyone, hypothetically, and we'd also like to do it at low cost. So one of our goals is to make a high quality university equivalent education process that would be like 1/10 to 1/100th of the current cost.
That's powerful. And we have a need for that. So the fact that you're doing that, I'm looking forward to it. I think the way, your ideas have been growing and people are looking at it and being so receptive. Where nowadays everybody's talking Jordan Peterson. Well, maybe one day if the man upstairs has plans, who knows? Maybe the Trudeau last name may be replaced by Peterson last name, in a place like Canada. But we'll see what happened there. Definitely you are very presidential, prime minister-esque type of a person, and you're good with fashion as well. You know how to put it together, so you're very fashionable. Anyway, so let's do speed round. Let's do speed round. I'll say some things. A name of a person, just tell me the first thing that comes to your mind,
All
okay?
right.
Whatever it may be.
All right.
Drake.
Male duck,
Okay. Kanye West.
king of the IDW. That's Dave Rubin's joke.
Really? Okay. Trump.
Anomaly.
Trudeau. Justin Trudeau.
That I just shake my head at that.
Okay.
Oh, man who capitalized without virtue on the name of his father.
Wow.
Yes, wow is right.
Wow.
If he had an ounce of character, he would have never run. I'm not happy about him. He had no right. Well, he had a right. He's a citizen. He can run. He didn't earn his name. Not impressed.
Why do you say that? Is this specific?
Because his father was very famous.
Sure.
And so that put Trudeau at a tremendous advantage with regards to moving into a leadership position in Canada. It's not excusable. You should move ahead on your own merits, especially if you're daring to do something like run a country. You have a moral duty, if you have the advantage of a name, you have a moral duty to supersede the accomplishments of the person who bore that name and gave it its weight before you dare capitalize on it in the public sphere. And Trudeau did none of that. He knows how to behave. He knows how to act in public. He had the upbringing for it. Other than that, there's nothing there, not that I can see. And if there was, he wouldn't have run the way he did. He's not an impressive person in my estimation.
Some strong opinions there, strong beliefs there.
He appointed 50% of females to 50% of his cabinet because it was, what do you say? Because it's 2015. It's like, no, quarter of your elected members of parliament were female. If your job was to pick the most qualified people, period, regardless of their genitalia, because they're leading the country. You pick the most qualified people. Instead, he abdicated his responsibility to make those difficult decisions and then wallpapered it over with this casual virtue of, well, I'm going to promote women. It's like, no, you're going to promote competent people. You weasel. No excuse for it.
Wow. I'd say one word, but that was a few hundred words.
Yeah,
and
well.
we'll take it. We'll go with that. Okay, how about vegans?
To each his own, man.
Each his own. Okay, fair enough. Jim Jeffries.
He's a comedian,
Okay.
More power to him. I like comedians.
Kathy Newman.
Failure to learn from experience.
Alex Jones.
Don't persecute someone who's paranoid. It's a big mistake, strategically speaking. Lots of people think conspiratorially. It's a mode of thinking, and perhaps Alex Jones a little more than everyone else. They didn't just stop Alex Jones, they stopped all the people that were listening to him. All those people weren't stupid. It wasn't like they believed everything Alex Jones said. They should have left him the hell alone. So it's not, he's a canary in the coal mine, I think.
Karl Marx.
A testament to the murderous power of resentment.
Elon Musk.
Amazing. He's amazing. He's done 5 impossible things.
That's amazing.
It's absolutely beyond belief. Yeah. It's hard to believe he exists. He made an electric car and then he shot it into space. Right. Either one of those things is really hard. But to do them together and to actually do them, it doesn't even seem real.
And he lives during our times.
Yeah.
That's what's,
Yeah,
we talk about
amazing.
Einstein, but he's current. So, look.